Does my assassiness upset you?
Queen with a crown that be down for whatever.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world. Have I not given everything?
You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise.
And now, our feature presentation.
Greetings and hotep to all of you, my prince and princesses. I am Princess Nicole Wheeler, the Grand Queen Bathsheba for the Princess Hadafa Grand Queen of the South Palace of the state of New Jersey. On behalf of Team Wheeler, your royal educational team, I am here today to present to you the latest edition of our ongoing educational series known as Did You Know? In our Did You Know sessions, we cover some of the topics of study chosen each year by the Supreme King Solomon and the Supreme Queen Bathsheba. Today's topic is called Myra, the officer, the city, the home of who? Let us get started. What is Myra? We all know Myra to be an officer in the palace. This officer is the equivalent of what we all are accustomed to as the treasurer. This is the person responsible for receiving all gifts and offerings, for King Solomon keeps a regular and just account of King Solomon's treasury. In other words, this officer keeps the books. If you will recall from our other Did You Know lectures, some officers of the palace can be a male or a female, despite the name Myra sounding like what we in America deem as a feminine sounding name. The officer of Myra can be held by a prince or princess of the council and palace. This is because Myra is not a person, just like the officer Sain, as described in the Sain video lecture. Myra is the name of a city located near modern-day city of Kale, is one of the most important towns of ancient Lycia. It is located on the Mediterranean Sea in southwest Turkey. Let us take a look at this ancient city.
Myra was a Lycian city dating back to the 2nd century BC. This ancient city was renamed as Demre in 2005, and it is in the Antalya province of Turkey. The ancient Greek citizens worshipped Artemis Eleutheria, who was the protective goddess of the town. Zeus, Athena, and Tyche were venerated as well. Pliny the Elder writes that in Myra there was the spring of Apollo called Curium, and when summoned 3 times by the pipe the fishes come to give oracular responses. In the Roman period, Myra formed a part of the Koine Greek-speaking world that rapidly embraced Christianity. One of its early Greek bishops was Saint Nicholas. Alluvial silts mostly cover the ruins of the Lycian and Roman towns. The Acropolis on the Demre Plateau, the Roman theater, and the Roman baths have been partly excavated. The semicircular theater was destroyed in an earthquake in 141, but rebuilt afterward. There are 2 necropolis of Lycian rock-cut tombs in the form of temple fronts, carved into the vertical faces of cliffs at Myra. The author of the Acts of the Apostles, probably Luke the Evangelist, and Paul the Apostle changed ships here during their journey from Caesarea to Rome for Paul's trial.
So here we see the officer called Myra is truly a place and not a person. On the surface, this does not seem to be an exceptional place. It does not appear to be a location of any significance. The time period when this ancient city was thriving isn't even during the time span of King Solomon or the Queen of the South. There isn't any record of this location ever even being visited by King Solomon's or Queen Makeda's peoples that we could find. So what was it about the ancient city of Myra that our wise and studious founders of this department found it worthy to bear the distinction of this officer? Myra was renowned for being a popular trading location, especially in the Mediterranean area of that part of the world. Doesn't this sound familiar? Remember, in our previous video on Syene, that city too was known as a popular trading location. It was located between Ethiopia and Egypt. Here is a fun fact. Myra is mentioned only once in the Bible. Here's another fun fact. The correct ancient pronunciation is Myra, not Myra. Well, my prince and princesses, here comes the big moment. The real reason for these series of video lectures. It is time for the Did You Know moment. My prince and princesses, did you know that Myra is the home of one of the most famous and recognizable figures in all of human history? The name of this person was actually mentioned in the earlier video clip. Were you paying attention? Think hard. I will wait. Remember, the video said Myra was the home of Bishop Nicholas. You may know him better as St. Nicholas. Still, not setting off the light bulb over your head? Still no. How about jolly old St. Nick? Yes, my prince and princesses. I am talking about the one and only Santa Claus.
What?
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 What? What?
Santa! Oh my God! Santa here? I know him.
So, does Santa Claus exist? The answer is yes, definitely. Santa Claus is real, and today we would like to introduce to you the real Father Christmas. To tell you that Santa Claus comes from St. Nicholas is probably not new information for most of you. We call Santa Claus St. Nick, and Santa Claus is literally St. Nicholas. But who was the real saint? And he was real. He was a bishop of the church, and you will see an icon of him in most Orthodox churches around the world today. He has been a beloved saint for centuries. Nicholas was born in the 3rd century and lived into the 4th. He was bishop of a coastal city in Asia Minor called Myra. Myra is actually a city with a biblical history, and it was a city that Paul set sail from on one of his voyages that ended in shipwreck. Nicholas was born to extremely wealthy parents, and he inherited a lot of money. He was very rich. But he wanted to dedicate his entire life to Christ, and that meant giving all of it away and helping as many people as he could. And it's this spirit of giving and this story of him being a kind and generous person, coupled with the fact that St. Nicholas Day falls in the middle of the Advent season, that has resulted in the development of the Santa Claus legend. There is a famous legend of Nicholas at his peak Santa Claus levels, and it is a story of him helping out an entire family. In this legend, Nicholas has heard of a father with 3 daughters that are slipping into poverty that is about to spiral out of control. Now, the father would like each of his daughters to be taken care of. He wants to see them married off and happy and comfortable, but he can't afford it. He needs money. Nicholas has the cash, but Nicholas also has humility, and he wants to help them without them knowing about it, and he's been doing this around the city and the area for a long time. So he goes out late at night with a bag of money. He finds the poor man's house and he tosses the money into the window. The next morning the family find it, and one of the daughters is able to get married and is sorted. There are 2 daughters left. St. Nicholas returns in the dark of night with a bag of money, throws it in through the window, it sails through the air and lands in a shoe drying by the fireplace. And this is the storied origin of putting presents into shoes, of Santa Claus leaving presents in shoes, which is what happens in most of Europe. In some countries it's the stocking, and that's probably the one you're most familiar with in England and America. Now the father by this point wants to find out who this is that's been throwing money in through the window, and he stays up and waits to see who this mysterious person might be. He encounters and catches the bishop of the city in action, throwing money into windows, and the story from there lives on. This is one of many legends associated with Nicholas giving money, of saving children especially, but entire families from poverty, orphans, widows, homeless. Nicholas was an example of generosity, and because of this example of generosity and because of many things associated with him, we remember him across the Christian world to this day. He is a saint, a bishop, and as a saint that means that he is a friend of Jesus Christ. He is an example not of receiving presents, but of giving things away. So unlike the round and jolly Santa Claus you'll see in commercials and on television, we are called to be saints. We are called to be like the real Santa Claus. Let's remember that this Christmas season.
Now, we have a different outlook on a possible significance of Myra and maybe why it was chosen to represent the officer relating to a treasurer. Remember, Santa Claus, or rather Saint Nick, is universally known for giving gifts. King Solomon gained riches as a reward for using God's gift of wisdom to lead his people and spread God's holy name. So there is a loose correlation, but this is purely subjective and you are free to form your own opinions. This would make for some great discussions and educational class debates. This concludes our Did You Know lecture on Myra. I hope it was as enjoyable and educational for you as it was for us in putting this together. On behalf of Team Wheeler, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more videos in the future.
This presentation was created using the latest in artificial intelligence, putting modern in international masonry. Thank you, brother and sister Wheeler, for all that you do. I hope that your combined talents will not go unrecognized. God bless International Free and Accepted Modern Masons Incorporated in Order of the Eastern Stars.
My queen, won't he do it?
As always, he does, my king.
This has been another Team Wheeler production.